Welcome back to another video. Today we have some it's supposed to be, the Earth Machine Toolbox, Machina, Infintrack trains, MIT, but we have a janky variant. Of course, all this stuff going around, when it gets popular, it gets boring. But now I have made a jankier variant, and mind you, I felt that this variant is a lot funner to play than the original Infintrack train stuff. I guess that's up to your own opinion. But right here, I'm just going to kind of show the basic 2-card combo, Gearframe plus Harvester. And we're going to be using the new Machina card, I believe came out in Blazing Vortex, if I'm not mistaken. So let us start off with the combo normal summon Gearframe. You're going to use Gearframe's effect. You're going to search the new one, Unclasped Par. Unclasped Par has the effect when it's added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can summon it. So you're going to use its effect to summon out the Unclasped Par. Use the Unclasped Par effect when it is summoned. You can dump any Infintrack, so we will be dumping a Machina Fortress. It's just a nice resource to have in the graveyard whenever you need to get a bit of field presence, or if you need just a card to go into and Earth Slicer, for example. Now we can go into a copy of Gear Gigant X, and then we're going to use the Gigant's effect in order to detach, well, anything. And we're going to grab a Symphonic Warrior guitar. Use its effect, activated. We're going to use it to discard the Torrential Tribute and summoning out a Symphonic Warrior mix. Mix gives us an extra normal summon, so we're going to normal summon the Harvester. Use Harvester's effect, and we will be grabbing a copy of Brutal Dozer. We have to grab Brutal Dozer here because there's no other real good way to search it. Now we can go into a copy of Goliath. Having the extra Earth Machine in the graveyard is important, and then we go into the Ballista. We're going to use the Ballista's effect in order to grab an Ancient Gear box, and then we'll use the Box's effect in order to search a copy of Tunneler. You can also search Trencher if you want, technically, although I wouldn't necessarily advise it. And we're going to go ahead and use the Brutal Dozer, Tribute 1, summon itself, and then we're going to use Dozer's effect in order to summon out Trencher. We're going to use the Trencher and the mix to go into a River Stormer. And then we're going to use the effect of River Stormer, detaching Trencher specifically, that's important, in order to grab a copy of Bullet Train. And we're going to add it to our hand. Well, actually, it didn't have to be Trencher since we're going to link off the River Stormer anyways. So we're going to go ahead, summon out the Bullet Train. Going to go ahead, link off the River Stormer into a Goliath. And then we will use the effect of Thunder, Tribute off the Brutal Dozer, summon itself. And then we will use the effect of Trencher. Trencher will revive Harvester. The reason why we're reviving Harvester is because we're going to use this on-field effect to use, and we're going to copy Thunder's effect. And then Thunder will be, since it kind of, both monsters become the sum of the combined levels, so they both turn into level 7 basically. We're going to go into Infintrack Mountain Smasher. Usually this card might seem trash since all it does is gain 1k attack permanently, but it does have its use, and that use mainly comes in the form of just being an easy to summon high beat stick. And you can equip Goliath to it, and when Goliath is equipped to attached to an Xyz monster as material, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. And you know what Machinas do? They like to destroy their cards. So you can resolve every single Machina card without ever losing advantage. It's insane. So we're going to go into a second Goliath. Actually, it's the last copy of Goliath. And then we need the extra Earth Machine in the graveyard. And then we can go into a double-headed Anger Knuckle. Now, remember, the Tunneler is still under the Mountain Smasher, so we'll have to use its effect, detaching Tunneler, and now it will gain 1000 attack. We will go ahead and use Tunneler's effect in order to shuffle back 5 cards. You're going to be shuffling like Goliath. You want to keep these 3 in the graveyard. Bullet Train will be able to recur during the end phase. River Stormer is a good resource to have in your graveyard, so you can search next turn. Brutal Dozer, you're going to recur it off your Bullet Train. Ballista, we don't need, so we'll shuffle it off. Goliath, we don't need, so we'll shuffle it off. Gigant, we don't need, so we'll shuffle it off. And we don't need the Gearframe. So we're going to shuffle all 5 of those monsters, and we will be drawing 2. Now this is just pure advantage. We can use this next turn. You can draw into maybe extra extension, maybe extra traps, whatever you really need. And then you're really just going to set 2 and pass. This might not seem different to the original Earth Machine combo. In case you don't know, Earth Machine combo just ends on Anger Knuckle Pass, and what it basically does, it kind of forms a resource loop where you're able to use Anger Knuckles effect to reborn the Super Bullet Train every turn, and then Bullet Train is able to recover the Gearbox, and Gearbox adds another card since it was added from deck or graveyard to your hand. Another cool thing about Bullet Train is that you can also technically grab back the unclassed power, and unclassed power is able to summon itself, so that's cool. You're able to mill like Citadel or something. It's not really much. So now if we say we pass here, I'm just going to ignore these cards. You're able to use Bullet Train in order to grab back the Brutal Dozer, and this torrential shouldn't be there, so we basically we've gone +4 basically. And say our opponent, like this is me, we're gonna normal summon the Gearframe, use the Gearframe's we're gonna use the Gearframe's effect. Why is this like trash? Yeah, Gearframe's effect in order to go ahead and grab a copy of Unclassed Power. You're gonna use the Unclassed Power's effect, summon stuff, and then you're gonna see a cool thing over here. Now let's just not use it for the sake of, you know, well, argument. We're going to be able to use the Machina Overdrive, target Mountain Smasher. Now what Overdrive does, it pops the monster and summons a Machina, but since it can't be destroyed by card effects, we're going to summon Citadel and can't be destroyed. And then we can also do something. You can also use just Citadel, attempt to pop the Mountain Smasher and blow up everything. But another cool thing you can do, you can use Anger Knuckle, discard Gearbox, summon back the Bullet Train, and use Citadel to pop the Bullet Train so that you can guarantee the Bullet Train in your graveyard for next turn, which I'll just kind of demonstrate over here. You just summon back the Bullet Train, and then Citadel pops the Bullet Train, guaranteeing it in the graveyard for next turn. Pop that, and then you just blow up everything. And now during the, say they like set a couple of cards, during the end phase, Bullet Train will trigger, grabbing back the Gearbox, and then you're able to use the Gearbox's effect to grab another search. I'd probably recommend Anchor Drill since you're going to get access to the Trencher through Brutal Dozer anyways. And right here, they have a Torrential set that could potentially end our turn, but you know, Infintracks are so good you don't have to worry about something like a Torrential. You already have full OTK since this thing's a 41k beat stick. So that's just game there. That's kind of the main line of play. The Symphonic Warriors are super cool. The Advantage Engine is super cool. That's kind of how Earth Machines go. Really fun deck to pilot. You can have, since the deck has a ton of recovery, especially with Citadel being able to summon itself each time something floats, you can have some super fun games with this. You're able to build boards constantly. They're not powerful boards, but they are really sticky. It's kind of similar to Orcus in a way. But the deck's super cool, and I think I'll just quickly get you the deck profile now. So right here, I'll just sort this a bit. Sorry about that. Now if I were to sort this, I'll go over the card by card here. Starting off with the one Citadel. You don't even need the one Citadel. It can recover itself from the graveyard, and you can summon it from your hand or deck through Overdrive. You can mill it with Unclassed Power. You can do lots of cool things with Citadel. You have the one copy of Irradiator. Unclassed Power might be considered a brick, but Irradiator just nullifies that. It also nullifies Unclassed Power being a Garnet if through redeployment. It just has lots of cool stuff. It basically says summon a Machina from your hand for free except Citadel, but you know it's fine. You usually want access to the level 4 so that you can go into Gigant and get into place from there. So that's cool. We have the one copy of Fortress. A lot of people don't know this, but Fortress can discard itself for cost, so you basically just have to discard itself and any other machine in order to summon itself, which is really cool, and it can always recover itself from graveyard. It's a level 7, so you can use Harvester's effect on the Fortress to make both of them level 9 and go into like an Earth Slicer to just blow up your opponent's field. That's a couple of cool things there. You have the unclassed bar. You only really need one. If you ever need to summon it again, you can just recover it off Bullet Train. Although I wouldn't necessarily recover it. You only really recover it off Bullet Train in a really grindy game, and you've run out of targets for Gearbox. So that's where unclassed bar comes in. We have a triple Gearframe. Gearframe is just... people might not see Metal Cruncher in this list, but Gearframe is just better Metal Cruncher. It searches unclassed bar, summons unclassed bar, and you can go into Gigan from there, and Gigan does what your Metal Cruncher is supposed to do. You can even search stuff like possesstorage in case you want to get some extra extension with an irradiator. You can search a fortress if you already have access to the extra level 4. You can search lots and lots of cool things with Gearframe, and that's what I like about it. I didn't have space for Metal Cruncher. Okay, I'm not saying Metal Cruncher is bad, but I just don't have space for it, and Gearframe is my kind of alternative. I didn't want to overflow in terms of normal summons, because that would just be bricky. So no Metal Cruncher, triple Gearframe. No one possesstorage. There's cool play with possesstorage with Machina redeployment. You search Irradiator and the Gearframe, normal summon Gearframe, grab possesstorage, and then you can use Irradiator's effect, discarding possesstorage, summoning itself, and then Irradiator is able to pop itself, summon back to possesstorage, and the possesstorage is able to summon back the Irradiator. Possesstorage is also able to summon out Citadel from the graveyard or Irradiator just to get some extra recovery plays. So it's an extremely really good card. On top of that, it's also able to bounce spell traps, but that spell speed one doesn't really come up much. We have the one copy of Super Extras Bullet Train. Really good card. It's an extender, and it's a super important recovery tool in this deck specifically. We have the one copy of Tunneler. Tunneler is really good. I don't know what else to say. It's just a really strong card, being able to recycle all your material, and you can recycle the Tunneler itself with the graveyard effect of Machina Overdrive. It's able to shuffle Earth Machines, and you're usually going into extra Goliaths for that Earth Machine count. It's part of average, draws you cards, gets you your resources back. You're able to go into stuff like Ballista again, which is just stupid. I believe Ballista can pop cards. Yeah, Ballista is able to pop a face of a heavy forward and a monster they control. Actually, it doesn't pop. It changes it to 1000, 0 attack, but same thing. Thunder, super cool card. Triple Brutal Dozer. Running 3 of it is important just to be able to play through hand traps. But summon stuff like Trencher from the deck, and that's kind of its main utility. Speaking of Trencher, Reborn's cards and is searchable off Gearbox and Brutal Dozer, so it has both those benefits. The one Anchor Drill, we're only really playing one since you don't need that extra summon that often. And its ability to modulate levels only really comes up for the copy of Earth Slicer, so you can occasionally have it at the turn 2 normal summon if you don't have one already, but it's really nice then. You're realistically going to search it off Gearbox turn 2. We have Triple Harvester, best starter. I don't know what else to say. Harvester is really strong, be able to search Brutal Dozer search Trencher. You can go into Ripstormer searches another card, Trencher Reborns, gets extra advantage. It's absolutely insane. You just pop off Snowball advantage. You have the Gearbox. It's not really a Garnet, because there is a way to play around drawing the Gearbox. It's really convoluted, and you have to resolve Thunder early, and then you shuffle back the Gearbox, and then you make Ballista for the search. And it's really convoluted, but it's really cool too. For Symphonic Warrior engine, 2 mixed triple guitar. The reason I'm running 2 mixed, even though a lot of you would be like, hey, you're running 2 of the Garnet, why are you doing that? You see, they're pendulum cards. You've got scale 7 and scale 1. You can pendulum summon in this deck. That's how damn good it is. You can pendulum summon, therefore it's the best deck. See, that's why I kind of run 2, since you are able to just set in scale and get extra monsters on field. Although those extra monsters usually don't matter, specifically in this situation. Also, Guitar has the very inconspicuous effect of being able to reborn Symphonic Warrior, since you can technically do that, I guess. It's really janky, but you know, since turn 2 I'm overlaying my mix into the River Stormer. Technically it can happen. It gets you a level 3 on field in case you want to like level modulate with the Harvester to go into the River Stormer. That's a weird line of play, but it happens. Okay. The triple Ash Blossom just for as an extra hand trap. Machina Redeployment, best card in the deck, just helps you. Machina Redeployment is full combo through one hand trap. Heavy forward. It's got a couple of cool applications. One of them being able to attach itself to the Mountain Smasher, or since all of the Xyz monsters reborn themselves in defense position, you're able to use this effect to switch them to attack and go for lethal. It also just searches Harvester, which is really the best thing about it. And finally for traps, Torrential, Trap Drake, and Machina Overdrive. You definitely have to run the Overdrive. I would have played 3 if I could find the space, but I really just couldn't. And running 3 and 41 is worse than running 2 and 40. And you can technically search out Trap Drake too. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. Torrential you don't have to worry about too much because Mountain Smasher will keep your board presence. And if you have Citadel in your graveyard, you can float. If the Citadel just floats. Trap Trick searches one of your traps, and Overdrive. Really broken card. It's a Pot of Avarice and summons a board wipe. Really good. And for extra, we have the Juggernaut Libe and Gustav Max. Turn 2, you could also just reborn Bullet Train, discard something, summon itself, and use Citadel and the Bullet Train to go into Gustav Max, deal 2k, and then attack for game. I'm not running Super Dora, but because I don't have space for the like other train that summoned itself another Earth Machine summon, I can't remember its name, but that's the main reason why you run this Dora, so that you can use the Derek Crane. Yeah, it's called Derek Crane. You can use Derek Crane's effect to pop a card, but we don't have access to Derek Crane, so we're not running it. Next we have the one copy of Earth Slicer blows up the board, and it's not too difficult to summon either. You can use a Harvester plus Fortress. You could use Anchor Drill plus any of your level 5s. It's just really good in terms of board wipe and has 3100 attack. Really good. Mountain Smasher, it's a really sticky card. What can I say? It gets you 1k attack and can be destroyed by card effects. When equipped with Goliath, it's a good target. It lets you resolve all of your Machina monsters without ever losing advantage. Its main application is just for Citadel's effect, attempting to pop Mountain Smasher, and then Mountain Smasher doesn't get destroyed, but all of your opponent's monsters do get destroyed, so that's really good. We have River Stormer, searches stuff, mill stuff. You're usually searching Bullet Train turn 1. Turn 2, I would say your best searches are most likely something like... Actually, you don't have a lot of searches turn 2, I just realized. But it's probably... Well, Possesstorage isn't an Earth Machine, unfortunately, although you would search that if it was an Earth Machine. It's probably something like a Fortress, maybe, or an Irradiator. It's kind of iffy there, but you don't have a lot of good searches for turn 2, but you can recover itself. Good resource in the graveyard. A really good card in general. You have the double Gear Gigant X. It's a get. If I only played one Gigant, the gadget server would slaughter me, so I kind of have to play 2. You should probably cut this for Zeus, but don't make sure the gadget server doesn't hear me say that. We have the Megaclops, easy to make in this deck since you have just so much spam. It's really difficult for a lot of decks to add, but not in this specific meta since it's looking to be just as control heavy as the last one. So you know, Megaclops isn't that good in control meta, but it works, I guess. You have the Cleave for Genius. It helps you negate a couple of cards. Platinum Gadget in case you just need the extra extension, although it's probably not going to happen. Anger Knuckle is... It's Anger Knuckle. What can I say? It's able to recover stuff like Citadel and Bullet Train each turn. For extra plays, it's able to recover itself from the graveyard. And that's kind of its main use in the resource loop. Ballista grabs Gearbox. And finally, the 3 copies of Goliath. You need every single one of those 3 to fill your graveyard with Earth Machines for Tunneler. So that is kind of the deck. There are lots of changes you can make. That's kind of what I like most about the deck. It's really flexible in terms of how you can build it. I decided to go with this specifically. Earth Machine, really cool deck, really fun to play, has lots of varying lines. It's fast enough to not be controlled, to not be called control. It's fast enough to keep you on your toes, and it's grindy enough to just have enough decision making and optimal plays. So skillful Dell, high skill cap, really fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.